seat. Yeah, come in, sit down. G'day, how you going? A bit of a play with computers. So they're set up with a program called NASA Eyes on that bottom one, like eyes in your head. That's freely available website that you can get from home. There's lots and lots of information there. I think you find it interesting, and there's lots of things to find about asteroids and the solar system and different missions going on around the solar system and stuff that NASA are doing. So that's really cool. So have a bit of a play. Okay, so by way of introduction, my name's Craig. I work for Australia's National Science Agency, CSIRO, as is my colleague Ipswich. So we're here today to show off Australia's newest space facility. That's what you're standing in at the moment. It's an actual working space facility that you guys get to come in and actually sit in and do a play with as well. So this is designed as a mission control system in a box on wheels. We can take it around the country. It's actually one of two parts. If you flick your eyes up there quickly, you can see the front part sort of parked here as well. That one's down in Ceduna at the moment with our partners down in Southern Launch that operate a rocket launch range, two ranges down in South Australia. So this facility is designed to help with Australia's access to space. And what I mean by that is supporting remote rocket launches, because they happen in remote and regional areas where there's not a lot of infrastructure. So by bringing in a facility like this, it helps their operations, so they're not having to work out on the back of vehicles or containers or having to go to temporary hubs and things like that. Now space is actually really important to Australia and to the world. Right now we already use a lot of space resources. Okay? So you coming here today, you might have used Google Maps or Bing Maps or Apple Maps and so on, and that uses GPS satellites that are in the sky that are helping us to navigate. And in fact, since GPS navigation has become available, shipping, airlines, people going out to the bush and that sort of stuff have been that much safer. It's been a wonderful thing that the US and the Russian and the Chinese government have offered to the world effectively. There's lots of communication satellites up there. Recently there's been a big cyclone that's gone through northern Queensland. That's being watched by weather satellites. Lots of predictions of how to keep people safe and things like that, which is fantastic. And there's even gone to the stage of doing things like bushfire management and watching for water quality around Australia and around the world, searching for resources, and also doing things like even manufacturing in space. So space is really important, being used at the moment. But Australia actually doesn't have a lot, it doesn't have its own capability to maintain our own space resources. We have to send those overseas to launch into space, even though we're building satellites at points and our own sensors and that sort of stuff. We have to send it all out of the country. That is changing now though. And in fact, in addition to Woomera, which is our national space facility, launch facility, there's about 7 or 8 other launch areas that are being set up around Australia as we speak. Two major commercial ones. There's a test facility down in Kaniva in South Australia near Ceduna, which is where one of our partner facilities is close by at the moment. There's Whalers Way near Port Lincoln. Up north of Brisbane, there is Bowen, which is Gilmore's orbital space facility. There's another one being set up in Weipa, Western Queensland, out near Lightning Ridge. There's a smaller test range out there. In Helidon, there's a static test fire facility, which is where they strap rockets down to a base and light up the rockets to see how well they go without them taking off. So that's within an hour and a half of here. Okay, there's one in New South Wales, there's a couple getting set up across Australia. There's lots and lots of activity. But if you wind the clock back, does anybody know who the first nation in the world was that launched a satellite into space? A human-made satellite. Take a guess. Pick a big country. Does anybody know a big country around the world? Starts with R. Russia. Russia is correct. Okay, so Russia for the first. Who do you think was the second? They got a little bit put out there. Russia split the first one up. Starts with U. Yep. No? Okay. Or A, depending on if you shorten it. So, yep. America is correct. No worries. Who's the third? Also starts with A. It's a little closer to home, too. Sorry? I think I might have heard it. Where do you live? Australia is correct. Australia, out of the hundreds of countries around the world, we were the third country to actually launch something into space. Our own homegrown satellite we put around in about 1967. Now that's pretty cool. Since that time though, we haven't had our own capability. So now we're getting closer. Right. I've got another question for you. It's a little harder to see now because it's night time over there as we speak. You can come up and have a look at this one if you want as well. You can just make out some words on the side of it too. Does anybody know what this rocket is? Okay, it's over in Florida in the US, which is why it's dark, because it's over the other side of the world. And I wouldn't be surprised because we don't quite, these space news doesn't really hit the TikTok cycle, or even the news cycle these days. That's the Artemis 2 rocket. So it's the second rocket that's actually going to be launched in over 50 years. That is now this one. They've already sent one around the moon. You may not be aware of that one because again, it's very hard to hit the news cycle when amazing things like this happen, unless you win the Melbourne Cup or something like that. But this is the second one that's getting launched, and it's going to be launched. First window is on April 2nd, so it's about a week and a half. This will be launching. So this one is going to send people back for the very first time to orbit around the moon. Okay, so that's pretty exciting stuff. And then a couple of missions after that, maybe Artemis 3 or Artemis 4, they'll be landing people back on the moon. Okay. So lots of really exciting stuff happening in the space industry side of it. When I was younger, I thought, well, if I wanted to be in the space industry, I need to be an astronaut or a rocket scientist. You don't have to be either of those things. There are so many different roles. Apparently there's an estimate in Australia of about 15,000 people actively working in the space industry as we speak. Okay. So those roles, you can be scientists, engineers, yes, you can train to be an astronaut. Australia now has their own trained astronaut under our Australian flag. It's Catherine Bennell-King. She hasn't yet been into space, but she's doing an amazing amount of work with our industry, letting them know the sort of things that are needed to sort of get actively involved in the space industry. You could be trades, so there's fitters and turners and carpenters and electricians and avionics engineers and technicians. There are logistics people required, there's administrators people required, communications, there are lawyers, there are accountants, there's a whole host of different roles that are actively involved in making us a space-faring nation. Okay? So we're going to be looking to you guys in the future. If you've got that interest, you can help us continue to press that forward and support that industry moving forward, because not just because it's cool, because there's lots of interesting opportunities. That's probably going to bring me more or less to a close. If you've got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I hope you remember, Australia, CSIRO being Australia's National Research Agency or Science Agency, covers over a lot of different things for Australia. Challenges with our energy systems, our climate, health and biosecurity, food security, but also space. Okay. I've got one last question for you. What's your favourite colour? Red. Red's easy. Yeah, we can do red. Yeah. Alright, Ed. So, have we got another colour? Yep. Blue. Blue's an easy one, that's good. Excellent. Alright, what about you? Orange. Yes, that's the second orange we've had today. We'll see. We get somewhat, there we go, that's somewhat yellowy orange, but it's somewhat, it's a little bit more yellow than orange anyway. We got another one? Purple? Purple's a favourite actually. Purple comes out really well. There you go. Excellent. Alright, we had a blue. Yeah, I think we had a blue. We can do a Cyro blue this time. Alright, believe it or not, we've also had black. Okay, black's easy, just close your eyes. It's good. No worries. Do you just sort of check the queue outside and just see if we've got many people? Because we're kind of, everybody's gone in some robots and stuff. Sorry? No. Okay, so we can take our time at the moment. Please play with what's there. If you've got any questions for us, we're happy to answer them as well. We've got our cyber physical team, doing robotics here. So please go and have a chat to the guys. There's people over in our booth with the robots, the robot dog today. So lots of different interesting stuff like that. Got any questions?
No, it's all good at the moment, yeah.
So for reference, I guess, that's the NASA EYES program. This facility has been funded under the Trailblazer University program, and this is helping around national priority areas. As I mentioned, this one's access to space, and it is set up by the Federal Department of Education. It's run through the Federal Department of Education and brings together university consortiums and with industry to attack different national priorities. The space priority has been covered by iLaunch, which is headed by the University of Southern Queensland, also includes the Australian National University and the Adelaide University as well, and a range of different industry partners. CSRO supports each of the different trailblazers, there's 6 of them, with capabilities, facilities and expertise. And this is one of those pieces that we've provided for the trailblazers in order to help them sort of progress through their industry priority areas.
Well, it's a good opener, all this. You don't know it exists until you come to these sort of events.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even though it is a working space facility first and foremost, the whole goal of it, we've made sure we're all passionate about STEM education, outreach, making sure that next generation is aware, and all the challenges you have these days of attention and trying to get that into public awareness. Because space is awesome and cool, but people kind of look at it and they think you've either got to be, astronauts and physicists.
They see it as a
rocket scientists
one-dimensional
and so
thing.
on. They see it very well.
And very generic, yeah.
But there is such a big industry that's behind it, supporting it and supporting activities, and it's supporting a lot of our the things that we do here on Earth. People don't really realise how important space is to us, as they do with a range of different areas of humanities, direction in technology and whatever else and so on. So, getting that message out there that there's lots of roles that you can be doing to support it and follow these interesting areas and these passionate areas, and have really rewarding lives and careers in support of things that are supporting our civilization. So, science, technology, engineering, maths, and the arts actually all really, really important. And it's important we get that message out through channels like yourselves to that public, so that they can encourage their next generations and so on also to continue to be interested.
Because everything's going so leap and bound in a short space of time.
It is.
Yeah, it's scary. When we look at all the AI stuff, how even just in the last 3 months, how much that's progressed.
Yeah. It's the tools that are being provided to be able to do what we need to do. There's always concerns that pop up whenever there are new advances and things like that. But once there's understanding on how it can be best used, we progress. So, we work in the mining industry, and we work with automation systems and robotics activities in support of the mining industry as well. And it's really interesting the conversations that we have when we go out into industry and help to educate and advocate around those technologies and those support areas. For automation and robotics, there are 3 Ds typically that you look towards that make things very worthwhile. If something is dirty, dangerous, or dull, it's something that you actually don't want people to be put into harm's way to be able to do those activities. And for mining,
that's seen lots of technologies over the years that have helped us to progress. We used to swing picks and shovels. We don't do that anymore for reasons. But yet we've still got more people working in the mining industry these days than we ever did before. And that's another big chain that I can get into, how mining is so important to our civilization. Everything that we touch and everything that we do relies on resources. Okay? Now, we use those resources, we need to use those effectively. We need to recycle and reuse those resources effectively as well. But we have more and more need every day. And there's, looking at the energy transition, for instance, you have critical minerals that have popped into people's awareness these days. Some may not be aware that even copper is a critical mineral. Okay? Because to do that sort of level of electrification, we need more copper transmission lines, we need more systems that are using copper in their motors and their generators. So it's surprising to think that it's such a, you think, abundant material like copper, which is, been around for, people who understood it for many years, since the Bronze Ages and so on. But it is a critical mineral these days. So, finding those resources, being able to prospect and explore and utilise those resources becomes an ongoing, increasing challenge. So that's where technology is coming in to help and assist, help us do more with less is really important. So,
it's all foundation stuff, isn't it? Before you can go forward, you need that base.
And having Australia's been a very smart country, in the times past, we've had a lot of our technologies have been well used around the world. We develop very high quality products and people, and export a lot of that, including our people. So, continuing to support that side of things in our services industry that Australia can deliver. We need those next generations as well to maintain that interest in actually following through into those sort of areas. And that goes the whole broad range from university to vocational training. So, having people through the trades come through and take an interest in science, technology, engineering and maths is just as important as people thinking, I need to go to university and study those things as well. So, lots of really interesting roles and things like that out there that people can do. But you mentioned before, getting that awareness out there, increasingly hard. We've got more communication systems these days than we've ever had before, but there's so much information out there that people just get lost in it.
You've got to channel it into the right thing. With me being a YouTuber, it's been a big learning curve, and to get it to go in the right direction, you can't just put it out there and hope for the best. It doesn't work. You've got to use the right hashtags and ads and all that sort of thing. And my YouTube channel is about not just one thing. It's a multifaceted thing. Just point of view of my life, and I find all this stuff interesting. Love it.
All right, we're just going to have a
play around,
Robot doggy.